Hello everyone, welcome to State of the Nation, brought to you by Poga TV. I'm your host, Peace Oga. Today on this program, we'll be discussing religious freedom and public health. Joining me to discuss this is Amah, Afadameh, a legal practitioner and a pastor. Pastor Amah, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Peace. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to State of the Nation.
Thank you.
How does it feel like after 12 weeks coming back to the church?
Coming back to church after 12 weeks was very exciting, or the anticipation of coming to church was very exciting. I was very excited. I was already talking on our church WhatsApp group about how excited I was to see or meet everybody once again upon the release of the lockdown.
Okay, on excitement, reopening of the church, is it a good move by the government at this point?
Okay, on that issue, this is my opinion. My opinion is that there's a difference, there's a dichotomy between the church and the state. But now what we have is that the state regulates the affairs of the citizens. What the church does is that the church provides spiritual leadership and guidance and prayers and hope for the people. The arm responsible for tackling and managing the crisis is the state. And if the state says it's okay for churches to open, then it's very good. I concur with whatever they agree with.
Don't you think the government are actually lifting the lockdown on religious gathering because of pressure from religious leaders?
I don't think so. I don't think it's as a result of pressure from religious leaders. If you look at it, if you followed the crisis since it commenced, you will discover that there are a lot of factors to be considered before the release of the lockdown or the opening of the economy. And you discover that other countries, even within Africa, like Ghana and other countries abroad, have monitored it until they say that they are opening up their economy. So I don't think we can say it's solely because of the pressure of religious leaders. That is why the lockdown is being opened. The economic indices, and I think what the economic indicators show that a gentle release or opening of the economy, or a phase-wise opening of the economy, will be of benefit to the government.
Talking about the economy,
yes, please.
We understand that the government wants to open the economy, right?
Yes.
So clubs, cinemas, event centers, and the places that could generate high revenue for the country are still shut down. My question now is, what is the contribution of the church to the national GDP of the economy? Okay,
I'm very sorry, as I'm here, I can't reel off exact data. But the truth is this: aside the financial gains or the economic benefits of opening up churches, you have to remember that religious activity in this context, I'm not just talking about the church, I'm talking about mosque and other religions, play an active part of Nigerian life. So what happens is that the religious organizations in this context, the church is a beacon of hope for the citizens. So where government fails and where people seem to reach a quagmire, a conundrum, or they don't know what to do, they receive spiritual direction from the church. So the church, the benefit of this church is not only economic. And I know that the church has economic benefits because events have shown that even at the onset of the crisis, churches have been doing donations, churches have been giving out palliatives to members, and even before the crisis, the churches have been very instrumental in uplifting the life and economic status of its members. So, beacon of hope.
Okay, talking about the economy.
Yes.
You said the church is not only contributing economically to the nation, it also serves as a place for hope.
Yes.
So my question now is, talking about essential and non-essential services, what angle do you categorize the church? Is church an essential service or a non-essential service?
Well, on the lighter side, Donald Trump says the church is an essential service.
Yeah, I'm talking about your own opinion. That is Donald Trump's opinion.
Okay, my opinion is this: the people in charge, like I first gave a dichotomy or a difference between the church and the state. Okay. The people in charge of classifying services as essential, or the arm of the government is tasked with the duty of classifying essential services. And if the government, in monitoring the crisis or the epidemic crisis or the pandemic, decides to call the church an essential service, then the church is an essential service. But aside that, the church is an essential service for the spiritual life of Christians.
So,
right?
Okay, if the church is an essential service for Christian,
yes,
is it a good time to go to church? It's not like a go at that kind of situation.
Okay. I think my opinion on this is this: the issue with that question, you say is church not a going to church not a go and die kind of situation, is that we have to reconsider what the church is.
So what is the church, Pastor Amah?
Yes, the church has been defined by in our social context as a large gathering. So when we talk about church, what comes to people's minds is the cathedrals, the big buildings. But you see, even in the Bible, the church is not just cathedral. The church is a living organism or a gathering of 2 or 3 people.
So are you saying that a synagogue is not a
no,
church?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the church is a gathering. In that context, what I mean is that you can see in the book of Acts of the Apostles, in the early church, the church in the shadow, they met in people's houses. They did not have cathedrals or temples in that context. So they met in small conclaves. So what I'm trying to say here is that when you say is going to church a go and die situation, I don't think so, because church is not just the big cathedrals. Church, when you're having church in your house, watching a live stream with you and your family or you and your friends, that is church.
So So in that case, why are some religious leaders not clamoring for people to come back to churches, to that large gathering, considering that we know how dangerous this epidemic is?
Okay, if you know me very well, I don't comment on the opinions of other spiritual fathers or other men of God. But I would want you to understand that everyone has their own theology, their own understanding of these things, and I think their clamor or their call for the opening of the churches comes from a place of understanding of certain issues that I might not be privy or a party to understand. But the truth is this: the church has served as a fulcrum of hope and healing. The real issue that nobody wants to say, or the real issue that has been used to take jibes at the church is that, so you say your God is a healer, you've been performing miracles, you believe in divine healing, you believe in divine health, why are you not healing COVID-19?
But there are some prophets that have come out to say they want to go to the isolation center, but government have not allowed them to come and do that.
That what I'm trying to say is this: is that the Christian faith, what we believe, what I believe, is that our God is a healer. Our Christians can walk in divine health. But the issue here is that we are stuck between that and obeying the authorities. And the truth is this: the scripture says we must be subject to authority. All government has been given to men. And if the government has said, hello guys, wait, don't open churches yet, I think it will be appropriate for us to not walk in error or disobedience and obey the government while that lasts.
I'm talking about government. Don't you think the church is naively and overzealously plugging its member into a regrettable destruction?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Considering the increasing rates, let's go back to the Washington State Choir that gathered for the choir rehearsals. 61 of them gathered. After the choir rehearsals, you agree with me that there was a report that 52 of these members were infected with the virus. So are you worried that we may have increasing cases when the church finally?
That is not my worry at all.
So what's the worry?
I really don't have any worries, but my issue, or what I think, is this. My thoughts are this: that the reason why I think the government has held up the ban on church gatherings is because a lot of people, when you go into gatherings, refuse to obey the social distancing protocols. I gave an example with a couple of friends the other day about the Czech Republic.
Okay.
At the onset of the crisis, the Czech Republic started with a total lockdown and made sure that everyone who came out in public, whether essential, wore masks. And when they continue the phase-wise opening, there's a strict principle that everyone must wear masks, and they experienced a huge decline in the numbers. We can see the case of New Zealand. In New Zealand too, they started an immediate lockdown, and after a while, you discover now they've opened their economy. The real fear and the real worry is this, that when the economy is open fully or people are out to meet, they will throw caution to the wind and not obey the social distancing or the safety protocol. Right? That is the real fear and the real worry for government. And that is what has caused this lockdown.
Yeah, we agree that the government has said churches can open, but on the condition of a 40% capacity.
Yes.
So what are the measures that you are putting in place? Is it that you are going to send messages to your church members not to come to church today, or you are to come to church today, you don't come to church today, or when people come to church, once you get to 40% capacity, you drive every other person home? What are the measures that you putting in place?
Okay, for our church at Living Spring, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to have multiple services. Multiple services of less than even 40% capacity of our auditorium.
Okay.
That ensures that there's sufficient space and we adhere to the government guidelines and protocols set by the Lagos State Safety Agency or Commission. That is what we are doing. So what's going to happen is that when we reach that maximum number, there's a waiting area where people are properly social distanced, and those people will attend the next service. Right? Also, other guidelines such as people over 65 and children under 15, we are going to adhere to that. We're sending those messages on our WhatsApp groups and other groups that, hello, if you're over 65, in compliance with the government's guidelines, please, you can watch online, have your church at home, and you are going to be fine.
So if you agree that you can have your church at home, why do we still have to come to a place where we have multiple people?
Okay, one of the principles or the tenets of the Christian faith is something called corporate worship.
Corporate worship.
Yes, corporate worship is different from individual or personal worship.
Does it have a benefit?
Yes. You know, when you worship corporately, what happens is that because we say people draw strength from the environment, from the gathering of other saints.
So does it mean that if you don't worship corporately, your prayers will not be answered?
No. That's not correct at all. Because people, when Daniel was in the lions, then he was not in a church, right? He was alone, right? There are some people in prison in solitary confinement, and their prayers have been answered. You people are praying alone in their rooms, their prayers have been answered. But a couple of people go through things that require that they need to draw strength from seeing other people or worshiping with other people, a congregation of people together. Yes, please.
You agree with me that there has been some controversy around the lifting of the lockdown for religious gathering. So there are so many people championing around for the lifting of the lockdown. We have some great men of God who has come out to say one or two things. So I want to read a quote from a statement from Afadameh that states that I read, there is a calculated attempt to weaken the growth of the church in Nigeria. In the same vein, Bishop Oyedepo also, in reacting to the same statement, he now said there is the continuous closure of the church when market and public places were open were suspicious. Another group also came out to say that if people had contracted the virus in markets and public places, closing the church from worshippers becomes unreasonable. In the same vein, Reverend Ayokule, who is the current president, also came out to say that this is not even a good time to open church because there might be high cases. It might increase the cases of this coronavirus. And just a few days back, Pastor Tude Bakare also came out to say he's not going to open his church till September, if possible, probably the end of the year. So what's your take on this whole issue?
Okay. based on spiritual principles of respecting and honoring the fathers, spiritual fathers. And if you know me very well, you notice that I refuse to comment personally on statements attributed to men of God whom I respect so much. But this is my personal opinion on that. You must understand that even within the Christian faith, different people have different opinions and different theologies and understanding, and have different ministries and different ways their ministries operate. And if from their understanding they give an opinion, I think it is wrong for us to come out and say, oh, based on our own knowledge or our own understanding, say, oh, that person is wrong or that person is not right.
But they read the same Bible. I don't know. Does every church have its own Bible? Or, I don't know.
Okay. It is the same Bible, but different people operate in different ministries in different ways.
So does it mean that every ministry has its own kind of ideology behind the ministry?
Yes, that's if you read through church history, you will discover that there are Pentecostals, there are Catholics, there are Anglicans, there are Protestants, right? There have been some tenets that some people have understood and have caused some kind of division or disalignment within the body of Christ. But that doesn't mean we don't serve the same God. We must take our eyes to Jesus and look at the main issue here. The real issue, like I pointed out, is the challenge to the church by everyone saying, oh, if your God is a healer, why are you closed? Why are you not healing people? Why are you not going to the centers? But that cannot deny the fact that there's a healing power available in the God that we serve, right? So, and there have been testimonies of people being healed of COVID-19. Do you understand my point? So let us not focus on the divisions. My issue with Christians is that a lot of times we focus a lot on our divisions. Hey, one person said this, one person said that. That is not the issue right now. The issue right now is that we have to come together and in any way we can, or any way we understand, battle and tackle this virus.
So, Pastor Amah.
Yes, please.
Our last question for the day.
Thank you.
What will you say to people who have been to public places, who have also been to nightclubs, unknown to the government, been to markets, but they say they can't come to church? What will you say to those kind of people?
At the end of the day, we have to understand that Christianity is a personal race, right? And everyone, it's a duty of everyone to work out their salvation with fear and trembling. The most important thing is that they don't stay disconnected from God. If you say you're a Christian, there are a couple of things that are important for you to do. Constant fellowship and communion with God, your prayer life, your worship life, and you can watch and stream services online, and you can stay at home and you will still be blessed. But I will advise them, I will encourage them that as soon as they feel it is okay, right, it is not bad and it will be appropriate for them to come to church, and they should not be lured to backslide or leave the faith because of this.
Thank you, Pastor Amah.
Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a nice one from Pastor Amah. You can drop your comments on all our social media platforms at Govt TV. Thank you and bye for now.